he also builds his own planes.
Okay.
So he needs good process around that.
Actually, a funny story about that. If you remember, if you're familiar with anyone that builds airplanes, obviously you want to make sure that it's well built, right? And so they have inspectors that come out and they look at it. And so I use CMMI and Agile, believe it or not, to build my airplane. And so my father was visiting, and the inspector came out, and he walks into my shop, and he looks around. You're good. You're good. My father was unhappy about this because he said, you know, he's going to fly in this airplane. He said, how do you know that everything's done right? And he looks at my friend. This is exactly how I conduct appraisals. Well, not exactly, but this is kind of like how I conduct appraisals. He said, you see those bins there? Every bin's labeled with a neat number, nothing scratched out. They're all in order of rivet size. And there's like 50 of these rivet bins, right? He goes, you look on the floor, do you see anything on the floor? You can eat off this floor. Yeah, he goes, you see those parts? They're hung on the wall, and there's little drawings around where they hang to make sure they're in the right place. There's nothing wrong with this airplane. Every rivet, and he looked around a little bit, but this is kind of what I do when I do both CMMI and Agile assessments. I kind of look around and I'm, oh, a team room, huh? Well, look, sticky notes, they're all lined up pretty neat. You know, they look current. Oh, there's a lot of data when you have that. You can walk into a Scrum team room and get 50 CMMI practices worth of data just by opening your eyes and looking around the room, right? So, anyway, that's a cool story about airplane building that I like to tell because it's all about infrastructure and setting up the infrastructure so that you can build stuff reliably, effectively, with productivity, without a lot of chaos and a lot of headaches. Because Bill and I were talking earlier, we said good software is not about any of these things. It's about all the peripheral stuff. Chaos, funding, leadership, clarity of ideas, values. These are the things that, you know, when those of us say, oh, we're going to implement Agile, so we're going to build great software, those have almost nothing to do with great software, right? The real issues are issues that are outside of methodology, right? And the cool thing about taking what I'm going to talk about, which is how do you create this resilient environment where we can build things effectively and productively without having to worry about all this other stuff, is that you can take some of these models like CMMI and Agile and kind of mash them together and get some really cool infrastructure out of it.